Many breeders start crossing their top roosters with their best hens, hoping to create the ultimate flock. We saw this excitement in our previous discussions on developing a new line from scratch over 7 generations. You take a solid Rhode Island Red flock sire, cross him with one of your hardiest birds, and you get that first generation, the famous F1. Those early chicks are vigorous, strong, and reach impressive production levels. However, the real trouble begins when you let those descendants mate with each other to form the second generation. Suddenly, the group looks uneven. Some birds are heavier, others tiny, eggshell colors shift, and the plumage becomes a visual mess. It feels like all your hard work is slipping right through your fingers. This is exactly where many producers hit a wall and abandon their ambitious farm improvement projects, losing very valuable time and resources. Today, we are going to fix that specific problem right in your backyard by discussing a practical breeding maneuver that seasoned producers use to regain control of their flock. No expensive laboratory equipment needed. Let's begin. To understand this fundamental move, we must first look at what happens in our breeding pens when we cross two distinct lines. Imagine you start with that pure Rhode Island Red foundation rooster and mate him with a local hen that has stamina but lays somewhat smaller eggs. The offspring from that initial cross, the first generation, usually shines by combining the body size of the father with the environmental resilience of the mother. This happens thanks to hybrid vigor, a natural boost that makes these birds stand out. The real complications emerge when you decide to let those direct descendants breed with each other to form the second generation. This is where nature reshuffles the deck, scrambling traits in unpredictable ways. You have young hens that lost the dark eggshell color you wanted or that went back to being too small for efficient production. Instead of moving smoothly toward a stable breed, it seems you are sliding backward into a random genetic mix. It is at this stage of frustration that backcrossing steps in as your rescue tool. Returning to the original blood of the parents allows you to sort out that mess and secure the desired characteristics directly. In simple terms, backcrossing means taking one of those young birds from your new generation and mating it back with one of its parents, or a pure bird from the same original line. When you execute this mating, you are intentionally modifying the genetic percentages within your future chicks to take back management control. Let's break down the underlying mathematics of this process. In the first generation, each hatched chick carries exactly half the genetics of the foundation rooster and half from the initial hen. When you breed those siblings together in the second generation, the math remains the same on average, but physical traits group in random ways. Some chicks might look pure from one side while others display the features from the opposite side. By applying the backcross and mating one of these young birds with the foundation Rhode Island Red rooster, the outcome changes. The resulting chicks will carry 3/4 of the genetics from that foundation rooster and only 1/4 from the original hen. This move reliably concentrates the strong traits you want, cleaning up those unwanted variations that popped up in the previous generation, resetting your genetic baseline properly. Knowing exactly when to apply this technique is vital for your project's success, as a mistimed move can set your production goals back for several consecutive seasons. As we mentioned in our previous discussion on the 7-generation process, the need to backcross usually becomes evident when you reach the second or third round of continuous breeding within your flock. During that early stage, hybrid vigor effectively hides many underlying recessive problems, giving you the false sense that you have achieved the perfect breed in just one shot. However, reaching the second generation makes that vigor shield disappear, and the biological reality of your birds comes to light. You will inevitably see that the hens at this stage start laying eggs with a paler shell color than originally expected or noticeably reduce their body size. This is the precise instant where the attentive breeder must step in to maintain the long-term quality of their work. If you notice those valuable Rhode Island Red traits diluting, that is your clear signal to stop sibling crosses. You must select your best young females and return them to the lead rooster to stabilize the line. One of the most practical applications of returning to the parental line is fixing the dark eggshell color and body weight in our laying birds. Many producers start their breeding projects chasing that deep brown, premium-grade egg that always dominates the local market. As the initial genetic mix progresses and you reach the natural dispersal point, some nesting boxes start showing eggs in light shades or with weights clearly below the acceptable commercial standard for your homestead. By taking a healthy hen from your new generation that lacks egg color and mating her back with your foundation breeder, you inject a strong dose of those positive traits. The daughters resulting from this corrected mating will reliably lay eggs of a more uniform brown shade and present a robust physical structure, ideal for handling daily field demands. This improvement in their body frame also makes them stronger against temperature shifts across the different seasons in your region. In this strategic way, you utilize your foundation sire as a biological safety anchor that prevents your project from drifting into weak traits that do not bring real production benefits to your daily farming operations. Beyond nest performance and body weight, the overall visual uniformity of your growing flock is another essential aspect solved by returning to the origins of your breeding lines. A pen where every single bird has a different feather pattern might seem interesting at first, but if your goal is to consolidate a stable breed, you need them all to look uniform. During the intermediate generations, plumage often splinters, showing spots, unwanted golden necks, or irregular tails that clearly reveal the mixed genetics from previous cycles. This visual chaos in your young hens is simply an external reflection that the critical internal characteristics are not yet locked into the genetic material of your flock. By implementing the systematic return to the pure paternal or maternal line, you begin to clean up these aesthetic variations gradually after each hatching cycle. Every single round of backcrossing increases the visual purity, ensuring chicks hatch sporting the exact base color you defined from the beginning of your selection program. This homogeneity makes your flock look much more professional and confirms the production aspects are aligning. You eliminate those patches of white or black feathers creeping into the mahogany red, creating a standardized and recognizable flock for the market. It is vital to address a common question that arises among rural breeders when discussing the practice of crossing young daughters with their foundation father within any poultry program. Many producers fear that this practice generates dangerous inbreeding issues that will permanently weaken the general health of the birds or drastically reduce their hatch rate in local incubators. While tightly closing the family circle requires constant caution, controlled backcrossing remains a safe and highly effective maneuver if performed based on rigorous selection in the pen. The main key here is that you must never use sick, slow-growing, or physically defective birds for this specific process of returning to your pure bloodline. Before taking a hen back to the main breeding pen, you must carefully evaluate her vitality, her daily body weight development, and her active temperament. If the selected bird demonstrates a remarkably strong immune system and an excellent energy level, mating her to the parental line will lock in those valuable production strengths. By strictly choosing only the most vigorous hens, you maintain a robust bloodline that thrives season after season without faltering or losing its genetic integrity. To execute this maneuver correctly after observing the disarray of the second generation, using management tools like trap nests is indispensable for any serious breeding program. You can't simply pick a hen at random based solely on her outward appearance, as you need to confirm her true performance before returning her to the foundation rooster. Suppose your main goal is body weight, and you notice that birds at this stage barely reach about 3.3 pounds, falling far short of the robust 5.5 pounds you expected. Through detailed observation, you'll identify all those standout females that, although presenting minor flaws in feather color or eggshell shade, maintain a solid muscular structure and a reliable laying rhythm. By taking these selected females and mating them with the proven foundation rooster of your farm, you directly inject the genetic factors necessary to correct the rapid loss of body mass. This focused process guarantees that your next batch of chicks immediately recovers that imposing physical presence defining a truly productive homestead flock. You regain control over your farm's vital production metrics without resorting to guesswork. In many cases, some farmers ignore the visual warnings of the second generation and continue crossing siblings with each other, eventually reaching an unstable third generation of continuous crosses. If you reach this advanced stage without having made any strategic corrective intervention in the breeding pens, the overall level of genetic dispersion in essential production traits will be so wide that you'll feel like you're raising 3 different breeds inside the same coop. That's exactly where backcrossing stops being a technical improvement option and transforms into an emergency measure to rescue your entire selection project from biological failure. By intentionally crossing one of these scattered birds back with the original foundation male, you produce strong offspring that will mathematically possess 3/4 of the stable foundational genetics. If you perform a second consecutive backcross using pure birds from the foundation line again, you push that genetic stability close to 90%, forcing your flock to return to your original standard. This calculated move serves as a natural funnel that strips away unwanted variations and safely restores your breeding line. A common question among producers is whether it's better to run the foundation rooster with the young hens, or, conversely, mate the original hens to a young male from the new generation. In everyday poultry farming, keeping the foundation Rhode Island Red rooster is usually the most efficient strategy to quickly stabilize the entire flock without wasting any time. A single healthy male of proven quality can comfortably cover 10 or 12 of your best hybrid females simultaneously, passing his genetic consistency to a massive amount of chicks in just a single incubation season. On the other hand, if you strictly use the original hens, you rely exclusively on the limited number of eggs they can realistically lay individually, slowing down the total volume of hatches and the progress of your selection program. However, selectively using the maternal line has strategic value when your primary goal is to recover specific characteristics linked exclusively to the female, like natural brooding behavior or persistence in winter egg laying. This dual approach gives breeders tactical flexibility depending on their specific operational objectives each season. Recovering that characteristic color is another fundamental reason why experienced farmers consistently return to the main bloodline of their best birds whenever they spot trouble. The classic, deep mahogany shade of the Rhode Island Red is a dominant trait, but it easily gets diluted or ruined by irregular white, black, or golden feathers during early hybridization phases on the farm. As you walk across your property and observe birds with faded necks or tails speckled with undesirable colors, you're witnessing the biological fragmentation of purity within your flock. When you actively apply systematic backcrossing and reuse the intact genetic material of the father, these visual spots act as if they're washed out of the plumage in the direct subsequent offspring. The resulting chicks will hatch showing a visual uniformity that's surprising, proudly sporting that deep shiny red that denotes excellent internal health, natural vigor, and technical consistency. Achieving this visual homogeneity is never an aesthetic whim, but the external confirmation of genetic alignment. A uniform flock also commands much higher respect when selling quality breeding stock to local producers. Upon carefully reviewing your daily collection baskets, the positive impact of systematic backcrossing becomes even more evident by standardizing the shade of the shells across your entire coop. Local markets and demanding modern consumers always show a strong preference for premium-grade eggs of a deep and uniform brown shade, associating them directly with natural production systems of the highest quality. Unfortunately, when the complex hybrid generations advance without clear management direction, it's common to find nesting boxes full of pale, pinkish, or irregularly speckled eggs that drastically reduce the overall final commercial value of your agricultural output. Returning to the solid genetics of the foundation, Rooster acts as a powerful anchor that concentrates the essential factors responsible for dark pigmentation in the reproductive tract of your hens. After completing this important cycle of genetic correction, you'll notice that the new layers consistently deliver trays with flawless color consistency, eliminating those pale variations affecting your agricultural sales. Consistent egg appearance secures your dedicated local customer base and elevates your farm's overall reputation, proving your breeding strategy delivers tangible financial returns. Beyond stabilizing color and body weight, we also lock in immense climate resilience by returning to our strongest foundational lines before it's too late. Modern industrial birds are designed exclusively to perform at their maximum within controlled, artificial environments, but on a real working homestead, they face drastic weather variations that can easily exceed 95 degrees Fahrenheit in the middle of a scorching summer. During the genetic chaos of the second and third generations, many birds simply lose that necessary natural hardiness and quickly become susceptible to severe heat stress, or the typical respiratory illnesses common to your specific region. By correctly and patiently performing the backcross with that proven lead rooster who has demonstrated his ability to withstand the harsh demands of your local climate, you directly pass that tested environmental toughness down to the developing chicks. These resulting birds will rapidly develop a consolidated line vigor that makes them resilient and productive under the real conditions of your rural property. Your flock becomes an asset that thrives independently, rather than a fragile liability requiring any constant medication. Once you've patiently executed this backcross maneuver, you open up a whole new world of possibilities for your independent poultry program. These improved birds, which now possess a stable 75% of the original foundational genetics, represent the perfect biological canvas on which you can continue working daily to develop your own exclusive breed right on the farm. Now you can confidently cross these vigorous siblings with each other, knowing that the segregation of vital production traits has been successfully controlled and minimized. The frustrating visual and productive disorder will be left in the past, replaced by a beautiful batch of exceptional hens sharing the same body size, the same feather pattern, and an uninterrupted laying rhythm all year long without fail. You've successfully broken the dependence on commercial hatcheries, clearly demonstrating that with meticulous observation, precise daily records, and firm application of this genetic return, you truly master your farm's destiny. The continuous improvement of your flock is no longer a matter of luck, but a predictable scientific process that guarantees long-term agricultural independence. Backcrossing is the ultimate tool that transforms a simple chicken keeper into a master breeder of outstanding premium poultry lines. By understanding the exact right moment to return to your foundational breeders, you take complete charge of the genetics on your homestead and prevent biological chaos from ruining your hard work. You no longer need to depend on massive corporate hatcheries to secure a flock that is robust, uniform, and consistently profitable under real, demanding field conditions. With this scientifically sound technique established in your management routine, you guarantee highly productive generations that overcome local climatic challenges. Let me know down in the comments which of these options makes the most sense for your setup. I read every single response to ensure our content meets your daily farming needs. If you got some value out of this breakdown, hit that subscribe button and give the video a thumbs up so we can keep bringing you practical poultry advice. Sharing this material helps our growing homesteading community expand even further every week. To your success, fellow breeder. Until next time.